Hi, Rick Harsh here for Corona Press and for Rick Harsh Writer and for all the other writers published by Corona Press. None more urgently than this guy who is making my life difficult by selling so many books. Uh, what happens is we run out of the books, and even if we know ahead of time that we're going to run out, we might not have the money on hand, like right now. We have money, but we have obligations. We're starting our new microline press. Next week, we'll be ordering the first three, and then week by week, we'll be adding not just the microline books, but also the occasional. Well, we have a book supported by Trenton Lee Stewart, no less. Um, Randall Eldon Green's book of short stories, which is going to be fantastic. I've read one of his short stories, and it was amazing. So, no, I didn't read it. I heard him read it. That's what it was. Yeah. But anyway, American, the Cult of the Cactus Boots. I just ordered 50. 50 is not much, nor is it many. I used to teach English. Now you know why I don't anymore. The problem is that 50 is our lowest number, and it costs more per book than 100 or 150 or 200. I was able to get 200 to restock Robert Stickley, and we still have quite a few of his. And so go ahead, order Robert Stickley, but we've only got 4 of these left right now. And it wasn't long ago that I was saying pre-orders, but I may be saying it again very soon because what happens is you order the book in, let's say, late October, and the book comes in November. I've already got your money in October, and when November comes around, I have to find that money. Where did I put it? I have to find that money, and I have to send you the book. And then that, follow me closely now, that money is on my postal bill, my biggest bill, besides printing the books, for the month of November. But I didn't get it in November. I got it in October, and I blew it on books and such. Mostly books, very little such. And so we're at that point again. American the Cactus Boots is back down to 4 copies. It's going to be out of print for as short a while as we can manage. If you want to pre-order it, go right ahead. And you will get it as soon as possible because it sells so well that I've got to try to keep it in print. This time, though, it wasn't all my fault, nor was it Phil's. He ran out of books. Why does Phil run out of his own book? Well, because he's a generous guy. People contact him and say, hey, I heard about your book and whatever. I'd really like to, get a signed copy. Is that possible? And so he removes his books from his own personal stock, and I don't want to say this out loud, but I don't know how else you would hear it. I believe sometimes he sends it free, you know, and when that happens, sometimes he's arranged for someone to buy it from me, and then he sends it. Sure. But I mean, he's a generous guy, and he can't hold on to his books. I remember, not maybe 2 months ago, I had a video of him reading, and I could see a bunch of these behind him, like 3 to 5 maybe. Those are gone, and so I sent him 10 books, and I, I didn't. I can't charge Phil for his own book. It just doesn't feel right, and so I sent them big box. Well, big box meaning like this size, and the post office somewhere, the postal system colluded with itself in order to destroy the books. When the box reached his house, all 10 copies were water damaged and beat up because the box came open or whatever. I read somewhere or heard somewhere that every package that's sent um, goes through something like 27 different flings or whatever. I mean, you may imagine your book like this and put into an envelope like this, very carefully, tightly wrapped by me, so there's no room for it to move around, and it won't get beat up because I tape it so much. I should spend less on tape? No, I got a tape, and you be careful opening it. Don't use a knife and get your fingers cut. Don't cut the book. Just open it carefully. Be patient. You've been patient all this time. Continue the patience. Patience is often good. Anyway, the point is we lost 10, so we were down to 40. And, we had a good run on Phil's book, but now we're out again. So that's something that I wanted you to know. This is an alert. Saber Guitars wants you to know that too. They're not buying books. They're not giving money to us or anything like that. They're just damn good people who take care of my son's guitar, who built my son's guitar. They actually had one guitar go to Deep Purple. Did I ever tell you that? I don't know if I did. We're going to do a regular advertisement for Saber Guitars when we get the chance. We're going to go into his shop, and he's going to talk about his guitars. So you know who I'm talking about. Saber Guitars, Sever, the best guitars in the world? Probably. The guy's a genius. Anyway, this is all about American, the Cult of the Cactus Boots. I will throw in a couple of things. I had intended today to be the day that I review before we even have a novel in print. Within a few weeks, the latest Vardeman is going to be one of our microline books. And it'll have a cover and, just be like most books. It'll be the same as the microlines when it's on your shelf. They're going to look great. The microlines are going to look like, can you see up there you can see the Penguin Classics because of that white line. It's a brilliant, white line. That way you can tell they're all Penguin Classics. Ours are going to look just as good on your shelf. And one of them soon is going to be David Vardeman's book called Feast of the Assumption. Feast of the Assumption. It's a wacky book. It's very funny. He used the word camp to describe it. Well, he meant, camp like campy, not like camping. There's no camping in this book, but there is camp, and it's funny, and it's maybe I won't do a review of it, and I'm worried a little bit about what we call these days spoilers. Spoiler alert! On the very first words of the story are Carl Murder Plan returned alone from chasing after Marge Comer, sat down at the table, and said to us, "I'm afraid I've got some rather odd and possibly upsetting news, folks." He looked us all in the eye, one after the other, around the table, all 6 of us. Then he went on, "Marge isn't coming back." Well, when you open a novel with Carl Murder Plan, Vardeman is just really... My favorite Vardeman name is Eddie Poole, P' Poole, Poole, Eddie Poole, and his crooked-headed mother. He's great with names, but now he goes full low camp with Carl Murder Plan. Well, who do you think, and what do you think? I mean, it could be forgiven if you suspect that Carl Murderplan is going to be involved with a murder. Um, but was it planned? That's the question. I don't know. But there's a lot of stuff in here that I've marked already, and I don't want to spend a lot of time going through looking for them. But let's see. Motrice Fox opened her mouth, bugged her eyes, thrust her head forward, but said nothing. She was having difficulty swallowing and possibly was choking on her phlegm. It was hard for me to see exactly what was going on with her neck, with caramel honks standing between us, and it was impossible to know what pre-existing conditions she had come in with. It could have been chronic drool. That's that's Vardeman paying close attention, where many writers would have just described it and left out the speculation and all of that. Here's one thing that this is to make up for the spoiler. I'm just going to read to you one phrase that'll make you say, "I got to get that book." The power of the moo-moo, M-U-U-M-U-U. The power of the moo-moo. I've been saying that around the house a lot lately. I don't know what people are making of it, but I'm making of it the power of the moo-moo. Here's a little exchange in the book that I marked. Carmel Honks stared a hole through her. "Why are you staring a hole through me?" said Inger Utart, all blonde innocence. It was a blonde-on-blonde showdown, but the energy was low now that the controversial cakes had been trashed. Carmel Honks said calmly, "The holes I'm staring through you pin you to the wall where you squirm like a bug. That is all." Okay, I'll leave it at that. Anyway, that's my review of David Vardeman's Feast of the Assumption, which we will bring to you as quickly as we can, hot off the press. There are people waiting for books, and one reason that that's going to come to you quickly is because our idea with the microline books is there'll be a different look. They won't require too many more pages to accommodate the words. They're very close to the size of our pocketbooks, but they won't be plastificated or whatever you call that. And they will be a little shorter, a little thinner, and they're going to have the same spines. So there's something else to look forward to. I think it's wonderful that we can just, even though people are waiting, and Luke Dillon, I'm telling you, the next pocketbook is actually going to be Randall Eldon Green. He's been waiting. Mark Douglas has been waiting. Mark Douglas, a poet, is also going to be in a microline book. We're going to use microlines as sort of a catch-all to for strange books, for picture books. We have an art book coming out called Boing Boing, which is a book of rabbits by a local artist from Ukraine. Not that this is Ukraine, but she lives here, and she's from Ukraine. The other thing I want you to know is that we're going to solve my problem of comparing my own press's books. I don't know how to fairly say this book is better than that book, but every once in a while I look at a book and I think, God damn, that is really a great book. And one of the early ones was Jeff Bursey's Unidentified Man at Left of Photo, which when we finally run out, it will happen sooner or later. They're everywhere. I don't know what. We really must have ordered a lot. Anyway, that will not be a microline book. It'll be somehow different, but it'll still be a pocket book. And I think the problem was that we were new at that time, and the font, this was before Zach Tanner took over that category, font fellow, and fine font fellow, you know, he he wouldn't have made the font so small, but the font was so small that one person who read it, and I think I can name Chris Villa, um, read it, even though I think it hurt him in the head. I think it was very hard on him. Um, we actually made a bunch of like 20 or 25 of David Vardeman's Angel of Sodom in that large print size that you used to see all the time before people got laser surgery and stuff. Uh, but I thought, let's have a microline that accommodates Corona Samizdat Classics. And the first of these is going to be a reprint of Bedraggling Grandma in Russian Snow. I think if you could take quality of book and lack of sales, it's not like we have made a second printing of this, and Joao Hayes, the author, also he made some sort of deal with Amazon where they print on demand, and he sold some extra books that way. But I look at this on the shelf and I think, how often are people buying it? Once in a while, I try not to give too many of these away, but once in a while I give them away and say, no way will the person who gets that free book without knowing it is going to think, what the hell is this crap? This is, it's a great novel. It's a great contemporary novel. It's a great modern novel. And it's a book that I will read again very soon because it's been way too long. And actually, when I bought this book, I had read 15 or so pages, and he had published it somewhere. I don't know. But anyway, I got hold of those pages, or he sent them to me somehow. I read them and I said, I want that book. And I don't know if he was even done writing it, but or translating it. Although the thing is, I heard from one of you that who reads Portuguese and English said it's not the same book. He changed it so much; it's like two different novels. That's a translator and writer. That's a guy who likes to have fun. This book is fantastic. This is going to be. Don't go ordering a bunch now. Okay, maybe a couple of you can, but I don't want to run out of them. It won't be too long before this is the first microline classic. It'll probably up here will say CS Classic. That's all in white lettering. Then the spine will be the same as the others except for the titles and so on. This will have the same title and name. I don't know what it's going to look like other than mostly black, just like those. Yeah, only with our own logo on it. And yeah, okay, I think I've gone on long enough. I just wanted to talk about cactus boots and let you know that another drought is coming, and you can take your chances on buying one and waiting, but there's no the only that helps us because we get the money, we get closer to the amount we need. But I want to buy 100, because I'm gonna send Phil another 10, and God damn, let's just say the post office fucks it up again. This time, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna spend a lot on tape. I'm gonna tape the whole box, and say, yeah, okay, now fuck with our books, postal people. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Remember, David Vardeman, Joao Hayes, and Jeff Walton and Philip Friedenberg. Bye now. I remain Rick Harsh.